Okay, there we go. Anyway, there is a theory which states if ever anyone discovers exactly what the universe is for and why it's here, it will instantly disappear and be replaced by something even more bizarre and inexplicable.
Yes.
I can't buy into that. A quote from the restaurant at the end of the universe, and the genius mind responsible for this crazed logic joins me now. He's the man behind the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Would you please welcome the show? It's our honour to welcome Douglas Adams, ladies and gentlemen. Excellent to have you here, Douglas. OK, now, over 20 years ago, you accidentally wrote a science fiction novel called The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which has since sold over 15 million copies.
Wow.
15 million.
That's all
worldwide. That's all over the world.
Yeah.
He said.
No, that's all the books. That's all the books.
books.
It's not just that one book.
OK, it's been adapted to a radio series. TV adaptation won 3 BAFTA awards. Are you actually sort of fed up with talking about the Hitchhiker's Guide?
Well, there was a point at which I became a bit fed up because it was all that I'd done, and then I went off and did a whole bunch of other things, including actually not winning any BAFTA awards. Then subsequently, you know, once I'd done a whole bunch of other things, then it just became, it became a more friendly thing and less oppressive, because I could go back to it or not go back to it as I wished. So.
OK, so you don't mind particularly talking about it?
No.
Good. For those who won't remember it, what's it all about?
Oh, well, it's about the sort of happy-go-lucky days that follow the moment that the Earth gets destroyed to make way for a new hyperspace bypass, and what happens to a couple of guys who sort of set off after that. One of them's a perfectly ordinary Earthman called Arthur Dent, whose house has been demolished that day as well, so he was having a really bad day. And the other is an intergalactic guide researcher called Ford Prefect, which is the name he chose when he came to Earth because he'd mistaken the dominant life form.
How do you actually think up there? When I've obviously read it, how do you think up the names for it? Because all the names in there,
well,
basically just Ford Prefect, it's fun.
That's right. Yeah. Well, I guess I mean the one people always ask is Slarty Bartfast. But I can't actually tell you. I can't actually tell you on broadcast TV how I came up with that name. I mean, I started out with a bunch of syllables that you could not say, and just sort of slid them around a little bit till they had the same kind of flavour. And I remember my young sister came into the room at the point that I'd just written that and looked at it and said, "You can't say that on the radio, can you?" Because it was radio first time. And so I knew I'd got it right, because actually it was perfectly broadcastable. It just sounded as if it wasn't.
OK, not like much of this show. But you know what, let's take a look at a clip from the series. Here we go.
In the entry in which it talks about dying of asphyxiation 30 seconds after being thrown out of a spaceship, it goes on to say that what with space being the size it is, the chances of being picked up by another craft within those seconds are 2 to the power of 260,199 to 1 against, which by a staggering coincidence was also the telephone number of an Islington flat, where Arthur once went to a very good party, where he had some very good food, had some very good drinks, with some very good friends, and met a very nice girl, whom he totally failed to get off with.
There we go. Fantastic stuff.
Got those 70s costumes.
They sounded fantastic. Well, where did you get the idea from in the first place? Because it was the first kind of comedy sci-fi we ever saw.
Yeah, well, I basically got it from lying drunk in a field in Innsbruck. The way you did.
I'll move straight on. What do you think it is about sci-fi fans? We've had sort of a lot of the staff, the cast of Red Dwarf on the show. Well, why do people get so anorakish about it? Why don't they seem to have a life?
Well, they do say that real life is a crutch for those who can't handle science fiction.
You know what they say? Well, no. So, what do you think it's about them?
I don't know. I mean, I guess that I guess that people tend to be very weird, and there's a little bit of me that's a little bit weird, and I kind of sort of plug into that, I suppose. I mean, the funny thing is, in normal life, I mean, I'm actually rather sort of straight and ordinary, because actually the thing that's sort of the thing that you write about is always something that's a very, very different part of you that doesn't otherwise get expressed. I used to love science fiction when I was a kid. I don't anymore because it's kind of too close to home. Yeah. When I grew up with Dan Dare, for those of you who remember that, and I remember
only John Mack said yeah there. Just for the record.
And I actually watched the first ever episode of Doctor Who when it went out. Do you know what else happened on that same day, the first episode of Doctor Who?
It was in 1963, was it?
It was 63, and it was the same day that President
Kennedy was assassinated, November 22nd, I saw that on the Doctor Who website the other day, actually.
What a confession.
And then I realised I made
confession.
a tragic on-screen blunder. No, I tell you why.
Get a life, Johnny, get a
No,
life.
because you can... I tell you why, because I had a bet with a friend about the bass line for Doctor Who. Yes. And on the website, you can get all 3 versions. I think there's been 3 recorded versions of the Doctor Who soundtrack. And the bass line does slightly change, all right?
Oh, the best version was the original one done by Ron Grainer, the Radiophonic Workshop. Yeah.
Oh, Trump. Okay, there we go. Anyway, your latest project is h2g2.com, which is a website. But what's special about this website? What's it about?
H2G2 is a short form of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. You see, the thing was, when I originally invented the guide as such, I mean, it was the idea of an electronic book you'd carry around with you and was continually updated with information about anything you'd need.
Really
and it was
foreseeing the internet.
Well, yes, I mean, I guess it was. I mean, I didn't think I wasn't thinking about technology. It was just a narrative device. But it's gradually, you know, the web has come and little sort of pocket computers have come.
They've nicked your idea. When you boot up into the internet, you say, "Welcome to the internet, based on an idea by Douglas Adams." That's what you should say. Do we not think? Exactly right.
Well, it's a lovely idea, and I wish I had a sort of tenth of a penny for every time I do.
I bet you do. I bet you do.
Instead, Bill Gates has. But anyway, there you go.
Yeah.
So you know, it seemed a very natural and obvious thing to do to try and actually create a collaborative guide online. And the thing about a collaborative guide is it's very, very unlike something that happens on paper. Because when you write a guide on paper, you got one person who's the editor selecting from all the available material, having to compact it down to what can be published on paper.
He decides what's relevant and what isn't.
That's right. Yeah. And then, of course, publishes it a year late. Now, what happens when somebody publishes stuff a year late, which is what publishing is all about? I mean, for instance, I was reading about there was an entry in the Rough Guide about, I think, Vietnam, and there was a restaurant, they said, in one city was a very good restaurant to go to. So somebody arrives there with the Rough Guide and finds the restaurant's closed down, and goes to another restaurant nearby and says, "So what happened with that restaurant?" They said, "Oh, that was the one that was in the Rough Guide." And they said, "Yeah." They said, "Well, what happened was it became so successful very quickly. The mafia took it over. The mafia can't run restaurants for toffee, so it basically closed down."
They're very litigious.
and so we took over. So that's the effect of having no sort of feedback, you know, because it takes so long. But the
That's
thing
the trouble about books. That's why we should burn them.
Well, I don't know about burning them. We should put them online. We should put them online. And the great thing about putting a collaborative guide, which everybody contributes information to, and it's absolutely live and it's absolutely up to the minute.
It's a kind of organic thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Cyber-organic.
That's right. So we've started, I mean, it's very small at the moment, and basically what people are exchanging are just sort of ideas and views and opinions. It's kind of like a forum. But I'm gradually going to start encouraging people to put real information in.
Okay. So if people log on, what do they see and how do they get involved with this with H2G2?
Well, basically, you can register just by giving your email address. That's all you don't have to get any inside leg measurement or anything like that. Just your email address, and you become a researcher, and you can put any information in you like, and it gets sort of voted on, it gets sort of maybe edited, and gradually we'll make the sifting of the information become more and more automatic. So anything anybody writes about will automatically be tagged here and there, and attached to every other piece. And cross-reference. At the moment, we haven't got there yet, but I mean, we're just encouraging people to sort of put in anything at all.
Okay, I'll put in anything. That's
Absolutely.
Fantastic. I'll be on it this afternoon.
Actually, I'm looking for information about scrambled eggs, and I thought I'd mention this here on the breakfast.
Well, there we go. 0181985 all the ones, 0181985 all the twos. Any information about scrambled egg? H2G2.com.
It's also where you can get. I was in a hotel in Australia the other day, and I noticed for the first time, you know when you get those big things, you open up a great thing, and there's a sort of mess of.
The big things you open up.
Well, you know, big brass things. You know, the breakfast buffet.
Oh right, yes.
Okay,
yes.
Yeah,
sorry, I was lost. So I just thought you were talking generally. I was going to say, I don't know, I can't.
No, you go to the breakfast buffet, and you got one you open up, little sort of squidgy little sausages, another one.
And the scrambled egg is rank.
Yeah, and the scrambled egg is usually absolutely awful. It's either sort of dry and brittle, or just sort of hard, solidified.
It's a slab, isn't it, of scrambled egg?
This was fantastically good scrambled egg. It was all moist and soft and lovely. And I thought, how did they do this? Now, you actually need to know which of the hotels and which of the places that serve good scrambled, that actually know how to make scrambled egg. So I think anybody who's got any information, about how you make good scrambled egg, and also we're going to capture all the information in the world about scrambled egg, and anywhere you can get good scrambled egg, how you make it, how you keep it, good over half an hour. So
Thank you for telling us about Scrambled eggs. Do you know, I can tell you that in itself was worth the 4-minute overrun. Do you know what? Douglas Adams has been fantastic. Douglas Adams, ladies and gentlemen, fantastic job on the show. Thank you very much. Fantastic job. We're over. So are you. This is Channel 4 watching Big Breakfast, where life starts at 7. Back in a couple of seconds. Don't go away, please.